Hello everyone, my name is Astral Black, and if you're like me, you probably don't play every single game that comes out this year. And that's not particularly a weird thing to do. Games are expensive, costing around £50 to £60 or $60, $70 if you're in the US. You probably want to think about bills first, you probably have other things to do. You might not necessarily have all the time in the world to play every single game that comes out this year. Some people just stick to one game, whether it be like a game that keeps expanding its content every so often. But others like myself go back to some more classic games, some more older games, just to fill the year out while I save my money for other things or other games that may come out this year. This is what this list is going to be. It's going to be games that I played in 2018. Rather than doing something cliche, it's like, oh, these are my top 10 games of 2018 that come out in 2018. I'm going to make a list of games that I've played in 2018 for the first time and I enjoyed it, no matter how old they are. They could be 10 years old, 5 years old, 1 year old, I don't care. I feel this is good because it shows people that there's more games out there than just ones that have come out this year. There's other games you should play as well. Like, hey, I've been playing games for over 20 years and there's still so many games that I haven't even touched, and they're classics. So without further ado, here are my top 10 games that I played in 2018. But before we get into this list, I'm going to give one runner-up and then we'll get into it. The runner-up game that I'm choosing is South Park Stick of Truth. Now I put this so low on the list, not in terms of quality or gameplay, but because it's kind of cheating, because I didn't really play this in 2018. I did, but I didn't. I started in December 2017 and finished it in January 2018. But I still finished it in 2018, so it's whatever. Shut up. The story is written in a classic South Park episode style, so for people that are familiar with the show are going to be very comfortable. For those who aren't so familiar, it's going to be really interesting and really hilarious, and absolutely outlandish shit goes on. A lot of people are kind of skeptical when things like TV licensed or movie games kind of make an appearance, but this is an example of a TV or movie licensed game that is just, the gameplay is just amazing. It's an RPG game with a nice bit of customization to keep things exciting and also addictive. It is turn-based, which might put a lot of people off, but however, it does require you to do some button prompts here and there to do more damage or do some combos that will help you defeat enemies quicker. So it isn't just spam A all the time. Sometimes you might have to pay attention, which is great. This even goes for defending too. You can avoid damage or take very little damage depending on how good your timing is as well. It may not be the most longest RPG or the most difficult game in the world, but man, the story is so hilarious and the gameplay is just so enjoyable that I honestly would just say play this game. It's fantastic. Please play this game.
There once was a maiden from Stoneberry Hollow. She didn't talk much, but boy did she swallow.
Okay, that was a runner-up. Let's get into the Big Ten. Spyro's Reignited trilogy is a nice little collection of remade Spyro games put into one single package. The graphics are phenomenal, the music is phenomenal, and the gameplay for the most part is okay. I say okay because there are a few flaws in it that I mentioned in my review. If you haven't looked at my review, go check it out, I explain it there. But overall, I don't particularly have any bad memories about this game. I still enjoyed this game quite a bit. I got all platinum trophies on all 3 games. And honestly, if you are a fan of Spyro, you're gonna like it. So I put this on my list at the very bottom because although it may not be anything phenomenal or special, I still enjoyed it, and I still liked it as one of my games that I played this year. During the beginning of this year, my girlfriend admits something very crazy to me. She's never played Pokemon.
You serious?
We played the first 2 classic games, so Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Crystal. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play Generation 3 and 4 because she hasn't got a Game Boy Advance, and also the Generation 4 games are really expensive to come across. But fortunately enough, we did get to play my favourite generation, which is Generation 5, which is why I'm putting Pokemon Black and White on this list. This is for me where I felt the series made a really good first few steps into what I felt could have been a really great line of Pokemon games if they had continued down this route, but they didn't. But anyway, we can appreciate this one. Its story is actually pretty interesting for Pokemon standards. It introduces a new villain called Team Plasma, where Rather than it just being an evil organization that just wants to take over the world, they want to liberate Pokemon and actually ask the question whether Pokemon want to be caught or not. Which back in then was a bit of an oh shit moment. I never thought of that.
Nani?
A new thing that they did that I really like is that you can only catch Generation 5 Pokemon during the main story, which personally I thought was a very good idea because it helps people get used to Generation 5 Pokemon and helps them get to know them better. And that personally worked with me because there's a lot of Generation 5 Pokemon I love. My top 3 being Darmanitan, Escadrille, and of course, Shao. This game is far from perfect, but there are a lot of things that it does right, but there's a few things that it could have done better. For example, its region map isn't particularly that exciting to explore. It's actually really basic. There's not a lot of twisting and turning paths, it's just very linear. And its post-game content isn't as good as Generation 3 and 4. There was a lot more to do in Generation 3, and there was a ton of things to do in Generation 4. You know, there is lacking the Battle Frontier, which is the best thing that happened to Pokemon in my personal opinion. But other than those two things, man, this game is a great Pokemon game. I would highly recommend you play this Pokemon game. It is the less successful Pokemon game, but don't let that fool you. It's still very good. Sonic Mania is fucking amazing. After replaying Sonic Adventure and having a awful time, I decided to go and buy Sonic Mania because I just never played it and I just completely missed it last year. And holy shit! This game is amazing. It is a top 5 Sonic game. If there are top 5 Sonic games, it's Sonic 2, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic CD, Sonic Colors, and Sonic Mania. The fucking good. The graphics are beautiful, the frame animation is fantastic, the music is just orgasmic. It has some of the most amazing level design ever seen in Sonic games. Oh, it's so damn good, it's so memorable, it's so fast. The only thing that I don't like about this game is that there's not enough original stages. If there was more original stages, in fact if there was a few, if there was maybe 3 or 4 more original stages, this game is a masterpiece. It's still great, I still love it, and I'm gonna replay it probably after I'm done making this video, but oh Lord Jesus, it is so good. This game was one high after another, and it makes a very compelling argument that Sonic still has some strength to him, he still has some appeal to him. He just needs to go back to his 2D roots, just start from there and just build his way up to 3D again. But honestly, this game is phenomenal. I finally get to talk about this game. I want to preface this by saying that I have never played a Ratchet Clank game until this one, and honestly I really missed out when I was a kid. When I started playing this game, I honestly could not put it down. It was that addictive. There was so much action going on the screen, there was so much to pick up, there's so many weapons to use and so much explosions. It was just a non-stop roller coaster for me, especially because you'll get new weapons and upgrades for that new weapon that will make your weapon even stronger and do ridiculous amounts of damage. Sure, in some spots the story can be a little bit childish, kind of silly, maybe cringy, but personally if you have some sort of EXP bar, skill tree or upgrade system, then you got me hooked.
You got me now, you got me now, you got me now, oh, you figured me out, you figured me out. You got me red-handed.
The new game plus is actually pretty good, seeing as there's new weapons to unlock, so it gives you more of an incentive to go back and play the game on a harder difficulty. All in all, Ratchet Clank is fantastic, and I look forward to more games like this coming out in the near future.
Welcome to Monopoly.
What? What the fuck?
This is probably a weird entry, but hear me out before you dislike it. This game is old as shit. It is probably a game older than dirt and older than your great grandfather with the glass eye and iron lung. But honestly, when you get a group of friends together, oh boy, you in for some laughs. This version that I play, called Monopoly Plus, is actually not too bad. There are some things that it's missing that could probably benefit it some more, maybe be able to add bots while playing with real friends as well. But the new feature that I like that it has is the speed dice thing, where it has little things that added to the game which speeds up the game. So I've played a game of Monopoly with my girlfriend that is cut it from normally it'll be 4 hours to 20 minutes. So if you're looking to get a good quick game of Monopoly out with your friends, pick this up, put on speed dice, have fun. It's hilarious. I've caught so many laughs from playing it with my girlfriend and also other friends as well. So give it a try. I know it's a weird thing to add on the list, but I play a lot in my spare time and I have a lot of fun with it, so that's all I can say.
Supreme victory!
Alright, we're getting into some big boy games now. My Heroes One's Justice is, for me personally, something I really look forward to because I wasn't feeling a lot of fighting games that have come out this year. I'm not into Tekken, I'm not really into Soul Calibur, but I am into My Hero Academia. The gameplay in itself isn't too bad. I would say it plays similar to like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, but just with a My Hero Academia setting, which I appreciate a lot because I've just been dying to play something like this. Although I really like this game, its story mode is really uninspired. It just takes rips from the anime, which I know a lot of anime games do, but there's just nothing particularly special about it. You're just kind of fighting the same couple of so people every so often. It's just really boring, and the online can have its ups and downs. It has gotten a lot better since launch. Like on launch, online was terrible, but they have been fixing it and they have been tuning the game to be a little bit more manageable online. So yeah, this game is in a decent state, and they actually are adding DLC characters to it as well. There's like 2 or 3 characters you can download right now, which I have to recommend. They're pretty good characters. So if you're a My Hero fan and you just want to play a little bit of a fighting game with My Hero characters in it, pick it up. I think you guys will enjoy it. Ninjin Clash of Carrots is so damn good that I really get upset that more people aren't talking about this game. It's a fantastic beat 'em up that I would say even rivals something like Castle Crashes or even Final Fight. It also adds RPG elements as well, such as having weapon and equipment to customize your character, which I'm very, very fond of, as it adds a lot more depth to the game. If you haven't watched my review already, just go watch my review. I explain a lot of it in deeper detail, but the gameplay in a nutshell is just satisfying. Every sort of action is just satisfying. Boss battles, levels, power-ups, all of them fantastic. Just go watch my review, you'll see why I love this game so much. Metroid is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises next to Mario and Zelda, and Pokemon of course. I started playing the games back in university, starting with Super Metroid, and honestly I have not looked back. The Metroid Prime games are some of my favorite of all time, and to see that Metroid Prime 4 got announced, I'm hyped as hell. But there's one Metroid game in particular that I really enjoy, which is Metroid Prime Zero Mission. It's meant to be a remake or a reimagining of the first Metroid game on the Nintendo Entertainment System back in like 1986, 87, but with some updated graphics and tight controls. Every so often I like to just go back to this game and replay it, because it's just so damn good. Occasionally I'll go and play some Super Metroid or some Metroid Prime, but this one to me just feels just right to go back and replay. It's an action-adventure game that focuses on exploration as well as shooting aliens. Along the way you'll be picking up new power-ups that can range from a stronger beam, being able to jump really high, being able to run really fast, even getting new weaponry to kill stuff with, and opening up new places as well. There is backtracking around it which might put people off, but the gameplay is built around it very well to the point where it's not so much a chore and more exciting when you are going back to a place where you haven't been before to collect new things. If you haven't played a Metroid game, I would highly recommend starting with Super Metroid and making your way through the other ones as well. It's a very, very underrated series in my opinion that doesn't get as much praise as Mario or Zelda, and I can understand why. It's not necessarily accessible for everyone. I won't lie, this game series isn't for everybody, but honestly do give it a try because it's just too good to pass. I won't lie, I kinda nearly forgot about this game when making this list. Not because it's bad or anything like that, but I only played it through once and then I just kind of moved on to other things. But when I went back and really just thought about this game and played a little bit of it, I was like, damn, this is a very good game. Not only are the graphics just fantastic, just beautiful, the story, the gameplay, oh wow. Like I didn't think God of War would go in this direction of being a little bit more cinematic, a little bit more story driven, but they did it fantastically well. It borrows a cinematic experience and atmosphere and pacing from something like The Last of Us, but takes its combat and like gameplay from something like Dark Souls, which honestly I didn't think would be a very good combination to put these two things together, and it works really well. Watching the dynamics between Kratos and Atreus, and watching Kratos just teach his son how to be stronger, be a warrior like how his mother was, is just, It can be hard to watch, it can be really beautiful to watch. It's very genuine, it's very organic. It almost feels like they're real characters. I know they're not. I know it sounds a little bit fake deep, but honestly, the story and how the presentation of the story is just phenomenal. Overall, this game deserves the praise it gets. It's very, very well put together, and it's definitely a must-play game for anyone out there. Like how they say Skyrim is, Red Dead Redemption, and Grand Theft Auto. Definitely play this game. You probably have, because it is one of the most talked about and spoken about games this year. But hey, you don't really need me to tell you to play the game. I think you guys already know how good it is.
Hello!
This is probably one of the best RPGs I've played in a very long time. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga is a game that had me smiling and grinning from ear to ear for the whole playthrough. Now, it may not be the grand story that God of War is, but this gameplay, whoo-wee, just perfect, 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 perfect. This game never bored me once. And I really mean that. Every time you think that you got a grasp on this game, it'll add like a new mechanic or a new ability or some new weapons each time, each step of the way, to keep things fresh, keep things entertaining, keep things exciting. And honestly, it doesn't get overcomplicated, it doesn't get old, it just keeps getting better. Much like South Park's Stick of Truth, you do need to do tactile inputs to defend and attack and do more damage and such, and even do combos and special moves. But this game's battle system is all about that, so you need to get that under control or you're not going to do well. But in turn, it makes battles interesting. It isn't just attack, then it's his turn, then attack, and then it's really, really, really enjoyable to play bosses and other just standard like encounters. And of course, who can possibly forget the catchy music? Which is why this is probably the best game that I've played in 2018.